Are you having hard time creating your websites? Or are you tired of paying agencies to build it? Well, you're at right spot. Now you can create your professional looking website in no time using Grigora. In this tutorial, we'll have a look at how to create your website from scratch in Grigora. Let's get
Hello
started.
everyone. Once you log into your Grigora account, you'll see this new site button, or otherwise you'll be redirected to this directly if you are creating your website first time. So let's start by entering your website name. Okay, before that, let me explain what I'm going to build today. So I have this landing page demo in Figma available. So over here you can see we have contact forms as well, footers as well, and a good well designed Figma UI. So what I'll do is I'll build this in Grigora and I'll show you how you can do it too. So this UI belongs to a real-time data analytics company. So let's name it as Data Lab. And after you enter your name, you'll be prompted to choose one of the template if you want. We have lots of pre-templates available. So if you want, you can start it from scratch as well. So for this tutorial, I'll start it from scratch and I'll show you how you can create your own website. So let's go to this and let's first analyze how this website is made. But before that, let's understand Grigora's UI. So in Grigora, over here in center part, you have a page. Over here, you'll drag and drop elements from this left hand side and then you'll paste it over here or drag and drop. Then you can use it directly. And if you want to add some element, this is the button you'll click. And then for pages, this is the third button. For component, it's second. Then we have typography. Herein you can edit the headings, body, site title, typography at once. Okay, that's all for now. I'll explain some other stuff when time comes. Okay. So let's first understand what colors are used in this website and how you can replicate this in Grigora. So you'll start by creating a color palette first. So over here in this UI, I have used this 4-5 colors. So let's define them. If you go to settings and color tab, you'll see this current color palette. So over here, you have to create this customized color palette so that you can reuse this. So let's start by adding first color is white, second color is black, then third color is, let me copy its hex code and then paste it over here. Okay, then third color, then fourth color is for I think this text subtext. Okay, once you have done with this, just hit update and your colors are saved. Let's go back. Then after defining colors, you need to define your fonts as well. So over here in this UI, I have used this inter font. So I'll define this by going into typography and then selecting body. For body, I'll search for inter font and then update it. Then I'll update it for heading 1 as well. Enter. Sorry. Here you go. Enter. Then enter. I think for H3 levels only it's fine. I'll only use it till H3s. So yeah, after doing that, I'll just save it once so that I have my progress saved. Okay, let's go back and analyze how this website is being made. So over here we have a hero section, then we have another section with actionable insights, then you have a teams, then engineering teams, then you have a testimonial section, then you have a contact us part, and then at last you have a footer. So In total, I think there are 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 sections. So let's start by adding 7 containers which we can use for this sections. If you go to add elements and search for container blocks, you can add this. Now what I'll do is, I won't be going into this add elements section and searching for this container part again and again. I'll just duplicate this by right clicking and duplicate, or otherwise I can press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Now there are 4, 5, 6 and then 7. Oops, I added one more. So now we have 7. So container is basically a block wherein you can insert another blocks inside it. So we can structure our layout accordingly. So I'll explain it more and more as we go forward. Okay, let's understand this hero section first. In hero section, we have this background gradient at first. Then we have a header. Then you have this hero part. So let's begin with header first and then we'll add this hero part. So for header and hero, I'll add 2 more containers inside it. One for header and one for hero. I can also change their name so that I can keep track of it. This is hero. So inside header, you can see that everything in this, not only header, but everything inside this template is kind of constrained within a max width. So in this specific UI, it's 974, but I like to use 1200 px every time. So let's go with 1200 px for now. So what I'll do is, I'll open its settings. To open the settings, right click on it and click on settings, or otherwise you can also press Ctrl plus E on your keyboard. So once you open the settings, we have lots of settings related to every block. So this is a container block, right? So container block will have display properties, gap, dimensions, width, height, etc. and other properties as well to change color. And then in advanced, you'll find padding, margin, border, and animations and few other stuffs. So let's start by filling in the header. To create header, I'll first set its max width to 1200 px as we decided. So let's set its max width to 1200 px. Now you can see that it's aligned to left. To align it in center, I'll quickly go to layout and then set its margin left and right to auto so that it's in center. Once it's in center, we can see that it has 2 parts basically inside it. One is site title, which is on left, and the navigation bar, which is on right. So let's add a site title first. Sorry, not site title, site logo. My bad. Site logo. And you have this navigation bar as well. First, let's update this site logo. To update the site logo, go to settings, then icons, then site logo. Let me export this from Figma real quick. Export. Okay. Upload logo 3. I'll upload the logo in favicon and Apple Touch icon as well so that it's okay. Once uploaded, now this column by default, no, not column, container by default is in column layout. What do I mean by column layout is whatever I add inside it will be placed below the site title, but in this I want to place it beside, right? So what I'll do is go to container settings, go to general, display, flex, and then I'll quickly select this row property. Now everything goes in left to right format. I'll also quickly align it to center, vertical align center, so that it's in center. Now instead of adding text block, we have another block which is called as navigation. Place it, and inside this navigation block you can add other text blocks and this button as well. So let's start by adding it. Let's place one text block inside it, about, and then let's duplicate it 4 more times. 1 2 3 4, correct. And then lastly I want a button inside it. So yep, this has to be inside navigation block. So now this is not inside navigation, so I'll drag it inside navigation. Yep. And now this button is added in middle of these navigation menus. So I want to place it on right. Either I can drag and drop it, but sometimes drag and drop cannot be a choice because you don't know whether it's dropping inside this container or outside. So what you can do is you can use keyboard shortcuts to quickly change its position. Press Ctrl+/ to open keyboard shortcuts. Inside block actions, you will find move after next sibling. It's Alt+right. And if I want to move before previous sibling, it's Alt+left. So I'll quickly show you how it works. It's Alt+left. First I'll select the block, then Alt+left. You can see that it's moving left and right. So now it's on right. It's correctly placed. So now I want to place this navigation block on right hand side. So what I'll do is I'll select this outer container, and inside align I can fill the space between. So yeah, now it's on right. Let's change those texts: pricing, contact, login, and then lastly we have a start a free trial on this button. Start free trial. Now we need to style this button a little bit. So click on this button in your settings. You have this advanced tab. Inside advanced tab, first apply its border radius to be TPX so that it's rounded. Then let's see what are these buttons padding. It's 12 and 24. So I'll adjust the padding by going into this layout panel, sorry. 12, 12, and then 24, 24. Sorry, 24. Now it's like this, and I need to change the background color to white and text color to or accent color. Yeah, so this is how it's looking right now. So I also need to add a border. So I'll go to advanced border, I'll add a 1px border, and I'll select the color to purple. So now it's looking exactly like this. Also the gap between these navigation menu icons is different. Here it is 40 pixels. So I'll change that as well. I'll select the navigation block, inside menu non-collapsed. I'll set the gap to be 40 pixels. Now it's exactly the same. Okay, now let's begin with the hero section. So let's click on this hero. Inside hero you can see that there are two parts. One is image, that is on right, and text on left. So for adding sections like this, we already have a block called as columns. So you can directly drop it and just select 50-50. You'll have left and right column. So inside right column, let's add an image. Inside image, let's download this first, export, and then upload. Yeah, let's add. Also, let's add a max width constraint to this hero so that it doesn't overflow the window width. Max width has to be 1200 as we decided, and in layout, margin left right has to be auto. That's it. In first column, I'll add this data. Let's first analyze what's in the column first. So we have this first container, inside it there is text, then you have text, then you have text, and then you have a container, inside it you have two buttons. So let's create a similar structure. Let me add a container inside it, then a text inside it for heading, then a text inside it for description, then a container for holding those buttons. Yeah, that's it. Then for container, I need to, let's start with heading first. Let me copy this, paste this, and let me change it to heading 1. So yeah, that's it. Then its font is 48 pixels. So what I'll do is I'll go to typography and change my global H1s to 48 pixels. Okay. Yeah. Then this description. For description, I think the color is this one. Sorry, this one. Yeah. Then let's add buttons. Inside this container, let's make this a row type of container. And once it's row, let's add button in it. This is button 1. Let us style this button 1 for now. Start free trial. Then I need to change the border radius and the background. Also the padding. Padding is 1224 if I'm not wrong. 24, correct. 12 and then 24. 24. Okay. Then I need to change its background color to our main accent color. Done. Yeah, that's it. And I need to remove the padding of this container so that it would match 0. Now I just need to duplicate it and change its background to be white and text to be accent. That's it. Okay, it's blending with the background because we haven't added this background gradient till now, but we will add it in a minute. So yeah, button part is done. Let's add this top part. For this, you can see that the first there is an icon, then there's this text. So let's start by adding icon inside this container. Let's make this a row format, and beside icon, let's add a text. And let me copy this, paste this, and let me center align it. Correct. Then its dimension is set to 100% for some reason. What I'll do is I'll wrap it in inside another container and then add it over here. Yeah, and make this a row layout. Now I can change its width to auto so that it fills the content inside. And then I need to adjust the padding. Padding is 8 pixels and 16 pixels. So advanced layout, padding, top left, and then this is 16. Done. So, and I need to add this border radius. This is 50, and then background has to be color with this. That's it. Yeah, done. And then we need to change the color text as well. So in container, I'll go to text and then select our main accent color. That's it. And for icon, for this type of icon, there are two ways to add this. First is using image block. You'll basically export this as PNG and then upload it. Otherwise, there is one more option by using icon block. Icon block allows you to add custom SVG code. Over here, just in settings, check this custom SVG icon setting, and it will ask you for SVG code. So I'll go over here, I'll export its SVG code, copy and then paste it. So now you have it. And also its size is slightly different, it's 16 pixels. So I'll also adjust that. Size is 16 pixels. So yeah, that's it. And I'll also remove this containers padding so that it would match the layout. Yeah, our hero part is done completely. Let's add this background to this hero part. Let me export this image first, gradient image. What I'll do is I'll go to container and then select background and I'll select image method and then I'll upload that gradient image into this. So yeah, over here you can see that this image is being shrinked or maybe cropped due to some reason. So what you can do is over here you can just add top to be, or otherwise what you can do is increase this hero section's height to 80 VH, maybe minimum height to be 80 VH. VH stands for viewport height, that means it is 80% of your screen's height. Okay, so even in 80% I don't see it's being corrected, so I'll just increase this to 100, and yeah, now it's correct. Also I need to center align this columns part, so I'll select this 0 and I'll make its height to be minimum height to be 80 VH, and I'll center align it. I'll select a flex and then vertically center. Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, our hero part is done. Let's move to our next section. Let's analyze the next section first. We have this container, then you have this heading, then you have description, then you have 3 columns. Let's start by adding 4 containers first, and then let me just rename this container to section 1 so that I can keep track of everything. Container inside this. So I have this container, I'll duplicate this 4 times. So now I have 4 containers inside, 1, 2, 3, 4, correct. Inside top container, I need to add this yqbly part. So inside this container, I'll add one more container that will be this yqbly's background. So this is it. So I'll select its setting, select its width to be auto, and I'll select this outer container to be flex with aligned middle. Yeah. Then inside this container, let's add this to icon block and then text. Let's make it a row layout first, and then inside this I'll add icon, and beside icon I need a text, right? So text yqbly. Center align, and then let's adjust the padding. The padding has to be 8 and 16, right? Yeah, 8 and 16, just as the buttons. 8 and then 16. I'll also adjust the border radius. Border radius has to be 50, and then background has to be this color. I'll also add this eye icon as SVG so that it's correct. Copy, and then I'll turn on this custom SVG and adjust it. Yeah, that's it. yqbly. I need to reduce this gap between these containers, so I'll pixel, and this has to be 12. Now it's correct. Okay, the text color of container has to be main accent color. Yeah, now this is done. I'll also remove this padding so that it's sticking on top. Let's add this heading and then description on it. For this container, let's add a max width of 1200 so that the heading doesn't overflows the left and right part. Let's add a text, and then let me copy this and paste it, and then center align this, make it a H2, and then yeah, that's it. I can actually duplicate this and this turn this back to paragraph so that. Okay, now I don't need this text to be this longer. So what I'll do is I'll reduce its max width from 1200 to 800 pixels maybe, so that it's in 2 lines properly. I'll also change the text color to this color. Okay, I can also, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Then let's add these 3 columns. Let me delete this container first. Inside this container, I need to first add this max 1200 widths setting so that it doesn't overflow. Layout. Over here, let's add 3 columns inside it. Columns, and then 3 layout. Then inside first column, I need this image, then heading, then text. So let's start by adding image. Let me export this image. Then I need a text. Text has to be bolder and in H3. So I'll just reduce its size to 18 pixels and center align it. Yeah, I'll duplicate this and then instead of H3, make this a paragraph, and then now I can actually do one thing. Wrap this inside a container and then duplicate everything so that I don't need to. This is inside a container, right? So now I'll select column and then duplicate columns instantly. So what I'll do is duplicate the column, again duplicate it, so that I can delete these old columns. So now I just need to change the image and headings. Oops, timeline is on right. Powerful algorithms. So yeah, this section is also done. That's it. If you can see from here, it's exactly the same. I think this text has a slight bolder typography, so I'll just increase its weight to 500 or maybe 600. Yeah, now it's correct. So let's move to next section. Next section is pretty easy. Here you have 2 columns. First one is image and second one is some text. So what I'll do is, in this container I'll add one more container that will have the constraint of 1200 px, max width of 1200. So, and okay, it's center aligned. Now let's add columns inside it into 50-50 column. And over here you can copy this text and then copy this. This has to be left aligned. This has to be left aligned. And then for product teams, this button is modified, and then for icon I'll export it. Okay, and also this has to be left aligned. So yeah, I'll remove this padding so it would match left and right part. 0, and also for this layout 0. The only thing remaining is I have to center align it. In columns, you go to this vertical align center and just click on it and it will be in center. So yeah, that's it. That's how easy it is. So now you have created this column, and one more thing, while you create this, it's automatically being optimized for mobile and tablet views. If you go to tablet views, you can see that it's already pretty decently optimized. So, and even if you need some custom changes for mobile and tablet, you can do it. So we'll move to that later. Let's first finish it for desktop view. Okay, for next section, it's exactly like above, only thing is image is on right side. So I can do one thing, I'll just duplicate it once again, and after duplicating, what I'll do is I'll select this column, and remember I told you one shortcut, so it's alt plus right arrow. So if I click enter it, yeah, it's on right now. For this button, I think I'll have to change this engineering teams, and then for this icon I'll copy its code, paste it. For data driven pipelines, copy this, I'll paste it, and then I'll copy this and I'll paste it. Okay, coming back to this, this is done. We only need to change this image. Let's go to image, export it, and image, and then change this, double click, upload. That's it. This part is also done. So yeah, almost half of our website is done. Only 3 sections are remaining. 4 sections are done. Okay, let's understand this section. This has a background gradient which will be in the form of image. Then we have this text, then image, then name of the testimonial, the user who gave this review, and then maybe few companies. So let's start doing it. Let me first add a text block. Otherwise I can just copy it from above section and then try to edit it. What I'll do is I'll copy it and then I'll paste it in this. Now once I have this, I'll remove this part since I don't need it. Then I can add this. Maybe I'll make this heading 3 so that that's correct. And then I'll add image inside it. After it, over here we need an image, so I'll first export this image. After exporting, you can just upload it directly. And then let's add the name. For name, I think I can directly copy and paste it. Do I have to change the style and also the font weight of this? 600. Yeah, now it's correct. And there is this separator after it. We also have a separator block. So if we add it inside this, yeah. Also the separator color is some different color, so I'll add this in palette. If we need it later, we can reuse it. Update separator color, this fifth color. And also there are these 5 columns with company logos in it. So let's delete this and add a new column inside it. I'll select columns and I'll only begin with 2. First export this image. Let me export all of them at first, so that okay, I need 5 columns, so 1 2 3 4 5. And now inside one column I'll add an image, upload, and then 1 2 3 4 5 donkey, and yes, then align it in center. Yeah, that's done. Now I can do one thing. I can duplicate this column. So what I'll do is duplicate it, duplicate it, duplicate it. 5. I can delete these old ones which I created. And delete. Duplicate. Okay. Let me change these images real quick. 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Done. This section is almost done. We need to apply this background gradient. So I'll select the outermost container and then I'll go to style, dimensions, and then image. I'll first export it from over here. So yeah, so in this container the same problem which appeared in hero section, so we'll have to increase its minimum height so that this image is contained within this container. To do that, I'll add minimum height of 80 VH. Let's try it. Maybe 70. I don't know. 70. No, still have to add 80. Yeah, also in 80 it's not working. So what if I add 90? I think I'll have to add 100. Okay, fine. Or otherwise I'll have to change this image's dimension, so I can do that in Figma itself. So yeah, that's it. After the image is created, I can just simply replace it and check. Yeah, I think this works. I'll have to decrease that max height, minimum height to 60 VH maybe. Or is it too thin? I think it's too thin now. Yeah, I think this will work. I'll have to make this 80 VH or 90 maybe. Yeah, I just need to center align this section. let's set its minimum height to 100% so that it's within this container, and then I can set it to center. Yeah, done. That's how we do it. This section is done, and then let's move to this contact us part. Over here you have two columns. First is text and then few images, then second one is contact us form. So let's make this. I'll add a container to add a constraint between them. 1200 px constraint, width max width is 1200, then layout has to be left right, and then inside this I can add two columns. Inside first column I'll add this text and then trusted by and then this image. So let me add container inside it so that I have more control over it, and then text is this is h2, probably h2. Then you have this trusted by. Yeah, this is slightly tricky. Over here you have a separator which is behind this trusted by overlay. So what we'll do is, for now we'll add a container and place a separator inside it, and also place a text which is trusted by. Okay, then I'll change its layout real soon. Let me just upload this images before it. For these images, this is a column type of layout, so I'll add column inside it, columns half, and then inside first column I have this image. Let me just export all of these at once. Then I have this censure. Okay, I need to duplicate and then add one more. Airbnb, then React, then duplicate and then sky. So yeah, over here left column has a gap between these two images, so I'll add a spacer in between them so that it's, yeah, now I'll decrease the spacer size. Now it's correct, I think. Okay, let's fix this trusted by. So I'll have to think. First, this separator is behind this trusted by, so we can use absolute relative position over here. Yes. So what I'll do is, Grigora supports custom positioning as well as per your CSS rules. So over here, if you go to advanced and then go to position, you'll find those position parameters. So over here, let's make this outer container a relative so that its inner content is inside it. Then let's place this separator in middle of this container. I'll do it by adding position absolute and then left 0, right 0, top has to be 50%. Yeah, that's it. Now you can see that the separator is in center. Now I need to add this text in middle of this part. So what I'll do is, I'll first make this outer container a flex row so that this width will be reduced, and then I'll wrap this inside a container, and then I'll reduce this container's width to auto, And then what I'll do is I'll change its background to white background, and I'll also make it relative so that it's over the separator. Oops, I selected. I need to center align this. Yeah, that's it. That's how we do it. That's how easy it is in Grigora. So yeah, I'll select the color first. Color has to be, text color is this. Yeah, done. And then maybe you can remove the padding of it if you want. Now let's go to this contact us part. In this column, you have this outer container, and then inside that you have this form kind of thing. So for forms, we have a form block. Before that, let's add a container inside it so that we can have layout options. Inside this container, let's add a form. Let's add a title first. Sorry, text. That is contact us. That has to be h2 and center aligned. Then inside this container, I'll add one more. Add a form block. If you add a form block, it will give you some presets. So you can select this simple contact form for to begin with. I'll clean it up by removing this. Now I have a similar form. I need to remove the labels of this form. Labels can be removed by going into this label and then show label off. Let's add placeholder into this. That is name. Sorry, placeholder is over here. Name. So this is for phone. Placeholder is email. Placeholder is name. What I'll do is I'll duplicate this and I'll add phone in this. So that I'll delete this text area. Also for this submit button, what I'll do is I'll increase its width to 100% and then center align it. Then for color, I can add, sorry, this is color, background color to submit. Its text has to be sent, so it's send. And I think this has a box shadow, so let me analyze it. Okay, it doesn't have any box shadow. Okay, it has x0, y3 and blur 6. So in submit button, if you go to advanced, you'll find box shadow. Yes, this box shadow, and let's add this box shadow. 0, 6, 6. Sprayed is 0, and then blur is 6, and then color is black with 16% opacity. Color is black with 16% opacity. So yeah, that's it. Button is also done. Now we need to add this part behind this contact us form. I think we should add increase gap between these form items. So what I'll do is I'll increase this to pixel. What is the exact gap in this Figma? 16 pixels. Inside this container, I'll change it to 16 pixels. Now I think it's sufficient. I think I can increase this columns width from 50 to 65. Yeah, now it's looking good. Let's add this background image. I think we can add this using box shadow itself. So select this container, wrap it inside another container, and For this inner container, let's add a background color of white, then add a box shadow. Box shadow has to be axis, that is fine, is 40 pixels, or sorry, not x, y. I think this is 50 is fine, and spread has to be 20. Now it's correct. Only thing is this color. What I'll do is I'll remove the overflow from over here. So I'll go and remove overflow and also add border radius of 5 so that it will match the UI. Also add this container for border radius 5. Instead of 5 I can add it as a 2 pixels. So that's, yeah, that's it. This part is done. I think this white card also has a box shadow. Yes, 4, 12 and 4. So let me add one more box shadow to it. Box shadow one more, and 4, 4, 4, 4, and blur is 12, spread is 0. And color is this, code with 12% opacity. So yeah, that's it. I think it's added now. Yeah, I can see it over here. So only thing remaining is the footer now. Footer looks like it's complex, but it's actually very easy. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, and with first and last column being of greater or longer width. So let's add this inside a container. Container has to be a fixed max width of 1200. Then layout, left, right, auto. And inside this, let's add columns. Columns has to be 4, 5, 6. Yep, correct. In first column, I'll add a container inside it again. In first column, I'll add site logo first, then text, which is for this. Then I'll add social icons as well. We also have social icons block, and click this. This is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So I think these are looking like buttons. Yeah, invert color and then remove its padding. Maybe this is button padding. Go into advanced and then lock it in and 0. Yep, correct. And let's increase its gap to, what is this gap over here? Okay, it doesn't have a fixed gap. I think 12 pixels would be correct gap for it. Okay, let's increase this column's width to 30%. Now it's correct, exactly the same. Okay, in first column everything looks correct. Let's go to next columns. For next column, let's add a text block. That is product. Product is H3, maybe H4. Okay, H3. So itself, which size has to be reduced to, what is its font size? 16. Then you have this container. I'll add wrap it in container and then remove its padding. So inside it, I have this connections protocol personas. Protocols. Security. GDPR. That's it. Integrations. Now what you can do is you can directly duplicate this column. So and start editing it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let me delete this first. Maybe now I can add it. For developers, company, and then support. I think these should be of 18 pixels. Otherwise it's too small. blog press. Let's delete these extra, and then support help center contact us. That's it. I'll skip the unnecessary menus. Let's add a container inside this, and then add a heading. Wait, for heading it has to be text. Text is newsletter. This is h3, and then 18 pixels. Padding is removed. For newsletter, we have another block called as newsletter. If you search it in elements, you'll find it. For newsletter, you can customize it like this, I think. Let me check. Let me first copy this SVG of this icon. Copy. Let's change the icon, submit button, custom SVG icon, this. Let's change the color of it, submit button's background to white, and then input buttons placeholder to email. Then that's it, I think. Okay, there's a border as well, container border. Let's remove it completely. And then there's box shadow. So let's analyze the box shadow. 0, 9, 5. So let's add a container shadow of 0, blur is 9, and sprayed is 0, and x y is 5. This is black with 5% opacity. Black with 5% opacity. So yeah, that is done. And also increase this columns width to 30% so that it would fill in. Yeah, that's done. That's how easy it is to create website in Grigora. So as you can see, it's completely okay. I missed out the color of this. So let me copy this. Let me add this in my color palette as well. Oops. Let me change its background color to, sorry, this. And yeah, done. Let me delete this last container. And yeah, that was it. Your website is made, and you can also preview your website in tablet and mobile view over here itself. So now you can see that some things are messed up. You can pretty quickly fix this. This is maybe due to width of container is not being auto. Yeah, we'll check this in mobile as well. Switch it to auto. Let's check other things as well. This is looking correctly. The image and gradient is also correct. I think this container also has the same issue of auto. So I'll quickly change it. Then now you can see that it's correctly center aligned in tablet. And you have this. And for this auto, and for mobile auto. Mobile auto. I think this is falling down due to this text length. So what I'll do is I'll remove this for engineering teams and make it only engineering teams for now. Okay, it's working. Okay, and also one more thing, you can responsively change the alignments of text so that now over here this is left aligned, right? As per desktop it needs to be left aligned, but you can come in mobile view and align it in center if you want. It won't be affected in desktop view. So you can see that this is still left aligned on desktop, but in mobile it is center aligned. So it looks great. let me align this in center as well. Center, that's it. Contact us is looking correct. This is good. Yeah, everything looks correct to me in mobile view as well. Also, if you don't like this much padding, over here there are two containers, so this is around 40 pixels of padding. So you can remove this padding if you want to. Go to layout and remove this padding to be 0. It will only be affected on mobile views. So your desktop views will remain the same. But on mobile it will become like this. So it's more good looking. That top padding to be 20. So yeah, that's how you create your website, and then once you're done with it, just click on finish button and then it will publish your website automatically. Let's go and view your website. So yeah, this is how it looks right now. Some part of it is messed up, like over here it was supposed to be in center, but yeah, we can fix that as well. I think that is because this container itself is aligning it in center, but over here it's not aligning. You can fix this by wrapping this inside another container and then aligning it in center. Let's set its height to be 100%. No, minimum height to be 100% of parent, and then let's align it in center. Yeah, now it's correct. Now your fully functional website is live. So yeah, that's pretty much for today. Let me know if you have any doubts in the comments.